Queer Scar Care. So today we're talking about general surgery prep for surgeries, and we're going to give some examples for folks having top surgeries and bottom surgeries, and we've got support for other surgeries as well. But reach out, send a direct message, or leave a comment here. So. Surgery prep. There's actually so much you can do. I think the number one thing is stretching. If you don't already have a practice of stretching, and if you do, learning to concentrate that on the areas that you're going to be having to work with for many months or years to come.
Yeah, so thinking about wherever your surgery is, what joints are near that area, what big muscles cross over that area, and how can you maximize the health and flexibility of those parts of the body before you're in a recovery process.
Yeah, so we have a video about castor oil packing, and I recommend that prior to surgeries for sure, especially if you're going over scars that were already there. Let's say you're having a revision, or just another continuation of your surgeries, or you're just crossing another line from something else that happened. So you can find more there, recommending that leading up to the surgery. So for top surgeries and bottom surgeries in particular, top surgeries, I love a ball, and this is slightly squishy, but not by a lot. A tennis ball would do pretty well too, or a racquetball. And we're gonna concentrate a little bit more on what you can do for yourself rather than having to go see a practitioner, because so much of it we can really take care of on our own, and it's nice to have access when you do. So for these, I recommend people put them in the shower. So let's say while your hair is conditioning or something else, you might just roll this, because you're in the heat of the water. Everything's a little softer. Hopefully you're, not in a super rush. And this is just stretching out the pec muscles. So you would go over your chest. And this is, I think, equally important no matter what type of top surgery you're having, whether you're having breasts put on, having them take off, having keyhole, having incisions, whatever it might be. This is going to be helpful to just loosen up the fascia that's here so that it has more elasticity before you go in and it's locked itself down. And then the other thing is, if you can do this rolling on your back, or if you can get one of those foam rollers, I recommend doing foam rolling on your back to kind of try and loosen all of that up. And then we've also got a lot of stretches that we can send you for those big shoulder joints that are going to be holding everything you've just done.
Yeah, and if you're having any kind of bottom surgery, you can find a Pilates ball, which is just about this big. Yeah. You can find them online, really inexpensive. And filling that about halfway and just putting that directly under your pelvis, sitting on it and rolling on it. So be supported. You'll have a chair with arms or whatever you need to stay balanced, and just rolling, moving the hips around. That can really help get into the tissue there too.
Yes, I recommend folks just like we said, take about half the air out. You actually want it to not be fully round. You want it to be a little squishy so that you have to work it, and putting it in different areas around your sits bones. Putting it right under your pelvic floor so that you can practice releasing. Think of Kegels as like tightening. This is a practice of releasing and softening. Imagine your hips as like butter going over and around and onto this ball. And find ways to have fun with it. The more you can move it, the better. So think lots of fluidity. So it's really great if you just have to sit at a computer, or maybe while you're reading. As you said, figure out what you need to brace yourself. If you have a chair with arms, that might be supportive, or a chair without arms might be supportive, depending on your body. So,
or on a yoga mat on the floor, find what feels most supportive and works well for you.
You can also use balls like this for your pelvic floor to practice releasing over and softening. So, yeah, different things. And all of these apply for post-surgery as well. That's the nice thing. All of these apply for pre and post. I think we often don't think that there's a lot we can do going into to set us up for greater success, but there really is. So yeah, I think that's it. Anything else?
We could show skin rolling here over
Yeah.
our area. So we
That
covered
way
this a
you
little
can
bit in
see
one of the
it.
other videos. This is, I find, a little bit easier to have someone else help you with, but you can also find ways to do it on yourself depending on your mobility. So may I touch you?
Thank you.
So skin rolling is a way of working with the fascia or the connective tissue. So that's helping, before surgery, it's helping to separate out those layers that should already be moving fairly fluidly over each other and just to help keep them going. After surgery, it can be a way to encourage that movement when the scar tissue might be kind of locking it down a little bit more. So before, in another video, we looked at just doing right around the area of incision, but when you're trying to work with the tissue generally before or after scar tissue, you're going to work with a bigger area. So taking that skin and literally just rolling it through your fingers. How's that pressure?
Great.
You can go forwards, you can go backwards. Some ways are going to feel more fluid than others. This can also be a great way to notice where there might be restrictions or tenderness or other things going on. They will probably come up while you're doing this. This is a pretty intense technique, especially if you have a lot of restrictions or a lot of tightness in the muscle.
If you've worked out a lot,
yeah,
this is often very locked down, and it's really going to behoove you to open that up.
So start really gentle, and yeah, just kind of coming in from all different directions. So really,
woo! I felt that one more.
You got that one.
Oh yeah.
yeah, right by the bone here. Yeah, so coming over, across, up, down. You might show what it looks like for you to do it on yourself. It's a little bit trickier.
Yeah,
it is. Angles, but it's still possible.
I think I just have to move my hands a lot more, you know, just angularly.
Yeah.
So, but then like going down, but also coming up. So, yep.
Yeah.
The other thing is for surgeries in the upper half of your body, like getting into your diaphragm in advance, because part of what's going to happen is all of this is going to get locked back down. You're also going to have restricted range of movement for several weeks. And so our diaphragms can really lock down. So getting in here as well, I think is really helpful.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just like, I think of it as like raindrops, like, but with a lot of pressure. I can't laugh and do it.
Forceful raindrops.
Forceful raindrops. I'm gonna rain on you so hard. So, yeah, and then similarly, as we've shown before, you can anchor here and just kind of come around. These I find, ooh, I just got a nice crack in my neck. That I often get that with doing, diaphragm work. So,
for any kind of chest surgery, also thinking about the bones. I mean, anywhere thinking about the bones, if you're thinking about your pelvis, looking at images of the shape of the bones can be helpful if you're not familiar with the anatomy. But here, something I would do is probably go around like under the collarbone, because a lot of the big muscles are going to be attaching to the nearest major bones, and coming down here kind of in between the ribs on either side of the sternum. Ooh, yeah. And then thinking about there's like little muscles in between all the ribs, so you can get your fingertips in there.
Yeah, those intercostals, especially after surgery. Oh, yeah.
And with the hips, same kind of thing, like really getting into the glutes and getting into the abdomen and just working in. Muscles are going to be attaching across the different bones, so working that can really help support the stretchiness of the muscles.
Yay. Excellent. Okay. Well, there's a little bit more for y'all. So happy to answer questions. Send us a DM or leave a comment here. All things scars for queer bodies. So reach out and let us know.